We'll go ahead and call the Ellis County, Kansas Public Building Commission meeting to order. Donna, please note that we have 3 members here today. Any changes to the agenda?
I have none.
None. Approval of prior minutes, March 19th, 2018.
They were fine.
You're good.
Stand approved as presented. Consideration of accounts payable.
There are none.
Don't have any.
Project manager report. I know he'll have something to say.
Thank you, Mr. President. Project Manager Philip Smith-Haynes. Just very briefly this evening, as I reported at our last meeting, we were evaluating for reuse some items from the drive-through bank as part of the 601 main project, and it does look like we will be able to reuse some of the carpeting from the drive-through bank, as well as the toilet from over there. So that should help with our costs on 601, and we have our first project meeting scheduled for a week from this Friday.
Good. Thank you very much. Any executive sessions? None. We will adjourn at 5:03. Ready? We'll go ahead and call the Ellis County Commission meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Donna, please note my 2 commissioners and myself are still present. For your business, any changes? I would like to make one, the indoor sports complex will be off the agenda for this evening, and it'll be back on for next Monday. Move on to prior minutes. We have all but the March 19th.
They're fine with me.
Fine with Barb, fine with Marcy, fine with
Yes,
me.
they're fine.
Stand approved as presented. Consent agenda items A through F.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
G, sorry.
I was going to look. Items A through G as presented.
And I will second that motion.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items A through G. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Issues from persons not on the order of business this evening. Do we have anyone? Last chance. We'll move on to Sexual Assault Awareness Month proclamation enclosure. Would you ladies like to come up?
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Hecker. I'm the Executive Director at Options Domestic and Sexual Violence Services. This is Rachel Chambers. She is our campus and community advocate here in Ellis County. And
Would you turn the microphone closer to your...
Yeah, because we can't hear you.
is that better?
Yes.
Right. Hey, never been accused of not being a loudmouth. I like it. We are here to ask for the community's support to recognize April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month and to read a proclamation.
I'm going to ask one of my fellow commissioners to read the proclamation because I didn't bring my cheaters, and I may really struggle at this.
Go, Barb.
We'll use Mr.
Try mine. Don't break into the wheels.
Okay.
Walmart, the second shelf.
Yeah, there's
I got mine at
3 for
Walmart.
$10.
Yeah, you could watch those.
Are you that blind?
I am.
Jimmy, crickets.
You give them back.
I can probably read better without them. Sorry.
All right, worth a try.
Okay. Whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month is intended to draw attention to the fact that sexual violence is widespread and has public health implications for every community member of Ellis County. And whereas sexual violence is any sexual act inflicted onto someone else against that person's will, or when that person is not able to consent or refuse the act, and includes sexual assault, rape, unwanted touching, threatened sexual violence, exhibitionism, and verbal sexual harassment. Whereas we call on every citizen to start believing victims, as only 2 to 8% of all rapes are falsely reported, the same percentage as for other felonies. And whereas every 98 seconds, an American is sexually assaulted, and every 8 minutes, that victim is a child. Only 6 out of every 1,000 perpetrators will end up in prison. 55% of sexual assaults happen at or near the victim's home. And whereas we must work together to educate our community about what can be done to prevent sexual assault and how to support survivors, and whereas staff and volunteers of Options Domestic and Sexual Violence Services encourage every person to speak out when witnessing acts of violence, however small, and whereas with leadership, dedication, and encouragement, there is compelling evidence that we can be successful in reducing sexual violence in Ellis County through prevention education, increased awareness, and holding perpetrators who commit acts of violence responsible for their actions. And whereas Ellis County strongly supports the efforts of national, state, and local partners and of every citizen to actively engage in public and private efforts, including conversations about what sexual violence is, how to prevent it, how to help survivors connect with services, and how every segment of our society can work together to better address sexual violence. And whereas everyone has the right to be safe and healthy and free from abuse. Now, therefore, the Board of County Commissioners does hereby proclaim April 2018 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Ellis County, and encourages all citizens to speak out against sexual assault, to provide support for survivors of these crimes, to encourage community leaders to hold perpetrators accountable, and to join anti-sexual violence advocates and support service programs in the belief that all community members must be a part of the solution to end sexual violence. Proclaimed and approved this second day of April 2018.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barb.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, ladies. You have more to comment?
No, Rachel did bring some materials for the commissioners. However, we wanted to share those with you.
Them in packets this time, it's a lot easier.
Thank you.
And we do have some new materials that we are out providing to law enforcement and our judicial partners around how to support someone who has been victimized by sexual assault. And those materials are meant not only for the survivor themselves, but has pieces and parts they can pull out and give to the support folks in their lives that are also helping them to recuperate. And so if you know of someone who has been affected by sexual assault, please make sure you give them our information. We gave you all an extra brochure so that you can point them in the right direction and we can get them the support they need.
And I think you're also a part of the mental health group with the Dane
Yes.
Hansen Strategic Doing.
Strategic Doing, yes.
So I'm glad to see that, and I think as long as we all work together, we'll make a difference.
Yes, we can. We absolutely can.
Do you work with Janice campaign too, or is that totally different?
Yes, we do.
You
Janice Campaign is able to provide prevention services, and but they don't provide advocacy. We are able to provide advocacy, but not prevention services. So we're able to join forces and help each other, support each other whenever that support's needed.
Because I just got that packet in the mail on Saturday, that's why I was going to
Right.
ask. Everybody else did too, huh?
Yes,
So,
we
well,
did.
good deal. Glad you guys work together.
Yeah,
Very
we
nice.
do. It's a great partnership. We're very proud of that partnership.
They are also, Janice Campaign is also a part of the mental health awareness app that we're trying to do through the Dane Hansen Foundation.
Okay.
Yes,
Very
absolutely.
nice.
Thank you very much for your support. We appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
coming.
being here.
And could we get a picture with you guys?
Yes?
Yes, sign in the property.
Yeah, wow. Sure, we'll come around there, it might
Do
be,
you want us to sign this real quick?
Yeah.
Is mine okay?
oh, here,
Yes.
we can, come back and we'll,
Oh, no, there were some in the packet, Dean. They're in the packet.
Oh, here we go, we already signed it. How
Oh, hey.
pretend you're
Look at
signing
that, yeah.
Yeah, we've already
for the
signed.
picture.
about we take off the little yellow tab?
Okay.
I think that might be the best.
Do you want someone to take the picture?
That would be great.
Give me a chair there.
See, that's what he'd
Look
like.
at this. Look at this. You wanna sit on it?
We'll just,
Okay,
There
there.
you go.
All right, oops, oh, there we go. Now.
Thank you so much. And this is our copy
That's
here?
your copy.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank
thanks for
you so
coming
much.
this evening.
Thank you.
I will send it to you.
you might have been able to share some of your glasses.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Appreciate
being
it.
here, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye, Rachel.
Guys.
Okay, you want me to read this one?
We'll move on to National County Government Month Proclamation, and Commissioner McClellan is going to read it.
National County Government Month, April 2018, serving the underserved. Whereas the nation's 3,069 counties, serving more than 300 million Americans, provide essential services to create healthy, safe, vibrant, and whereas counties move America forward by providing health care, administering justice, keeping communities safe, creating economic opportunities, and much more. And whereas Ellis County and all counties take pride in their responsibility to protect and enhance the health, welfare, and safety of its residents in efficient and cost-effective ways. And whereas, in order to remain healthy, vibrant, and safe, America's counties provide public health, justice, safety, infrastructure, transportation, technology, environmental stewardship, and economic services that play a key role in everything from residents' daily commutes to emergency response. And whereas each year since 1991, the National Association of Counties has encouraged counties across the country to actively promote their own programs and services to the public they serve. Now, therefore, the County Commissioners does hereby proclaim April 2018 as National County Government Month and encourage all county officials, employees, schools, and residents to participate in county government celebration activities. Proclaimed and approved this second day of April 2018. Okay.
Thank you very much, Marcy.
Yeah.
We'll move on to Indoor Training Facility Economic Development Incentive. Taken off the agenda just a few minutes ago, Phil. I'll tell you why. Realizing that we all had not been shared of all the same information, they thought all the emails was going to everybody, and come to find out our most important person, Lisa Ree, had not got the most recent email on this facility. So I told Lisa I think we need to take it off the agenda for this evening until all the information can be shared with all the folks. So we'd like to put it back on next week, Lisa? Yes.
Okay.
That is okay with you, Phil, and I'll get with you later. We will move on to agreement for janitorial services at the Emergency Services Facility. County Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, County Administrator Philip Smith Haynes. This is an agreement that is proposed for Clean Right LLC to provide janitorial service to our emergency services facility on East 22nd Street. As the Commission may recall, as part of this year's budget, you approved funding for Buildings and Grounds to contract out one facility. After discussion with department heads, they settled on this facility as the best candidate, and we sent out a request for proposals to 3 local vendors and also advertised it on our website. 2 of those local vendors did submit proposals. Clean Right LLC was the lowest cost service, excuse me. The county councilor has prepared an agreement with CleanRight, which provides for a 3-year term with annual renegotiation, as well as the possibility of CleanRight providing backup services for 2507 Canterbury and 601 Main if buildings and grounds staff is short-staffed due to illness or vacation. The first year of the agreement is for $5,200 plus an additional $26 per hour for any backup services as requested. Adequate funds were included in the budget for this purpose, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
We knew this was coming. We're just adding, we keep adding buildings, but we don't add staff. So I move that we approve the agreement with CleanRight LLC for the provision of janitorial services at 1105 East 22nd Street and authorize the chair to sign such agreement.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. I would have just one question. Are they going to do Darren's side also, the offices, or is this just on Carrie's side?
No, this is for both sides on the offices.
Okay.
They will not actually do in the living quarters for EMS because EMS staff
Kind of
is,
takes care of that
yeah.
themselves. Okay. That's all the questions I have. No further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0, Donna. Move on to the roof repairs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, County Administrator Philip Smith Haynes. This item is for roof repairs at 2507 Canterbury. As you know, we acquired the facility at 2507 Canterbury Drive last summer for the purpose of relocating our health department facility there. At the time that we acquired the facility, there was a warranty on the building roof, and we got that warranty transferred to us. However, the warranty excludes damage from certain events, and one of those is high winds. Recently,
Which
we
we
had a
just had.
high wind event in Ellis County, and our buildings and grounds staff noticed damage to the roof at the facility. After speaking with the warranty folks and our insurers through K-Camp, it was determined that K-Camp would cover the cost of the damage, less a $500 deductible. The county has already received a check from K-Camp for that amount. In speaking, however, with Roof Masters, we're recommending that we go ahead and not just repair the roof, but also do a slight pitch in the roof to provide better drainage. That will cost an additional $9,700 in change, which would be covered from the administrator contingency account, and I'd be happy to answer questions.
Sounds to me like you just took care of everything that needs done. That slope on the roof, I think, was a great idea.
You don't build a flat roof in Kansas.
Well, that's the thing, you know. And
Not good anywhere.
Be warranted should be the wind, but
You
tomorrow's supposed to
warranty
be
the
50
wind.
mile an hour, they were saying, so it could be worse tomorrow.
That's right.
Oh,
I have no questions with it, ladies, or problems.
No, I
Do see a
don't.
motion?
I don't.
I move that the commission approve the quote from Roof Masters for repairs to the roof at 2507 Canterbury Drive in the amount of $33,500 and authorize the chair to sign the agreement.
And I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. No further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0, Donna. Mr. Bill Jeter, County Councilor.
County Councilor Bill Jeter, I have no report tonight. Thank you.
Nothing about Saturday, huh?
No,
Okay.
nothing to report.
Thank you. It works. You weren't there, were
There
you?
was no game.
There was
there?
no game.
No. We'll move on to the county administrator that wants to give a report, I can tell.
County Administrator Philip Smith Haynes, I have nothing to report this evening.
Really?
We will be requesting one executive session out.
Okay. Well, county commission reports.
I have nothing this week. I'm glad everyone had a nice Easter and glad we got back from Kansas City visiting our son in one piece with the snow that went half the way. Wish we'd gotten to hear.
Marcy?
I spoke at the Ellis Nutrition Center last week. Also had a High Plains Mental Health meeting on Thursday night and a Workforce One conference call on Friday.
Very good. I led a boring life. I just talked to the fellow officers from the Northwest Kansas Highway Officials Association. We've been having communication back and forth about the upcoming meeting, April the 18th.
That's right,
So,
because you're on that board now.
Vice President, thanks to Mr. Bill Ring. Keep smiling, buddy.
He just keeps smiling.
I'll get even. We'll move on to an executive session, and Phil's going to tell us what that is.
Yes, sir. Staff would request one executive session for the purpose of discussing individual rates of pay for 3 employees pursuant to the Open Meetings Act exception for personnel matters of non-elected personnel, KSA 75-4319B1. Executive session to include the 3 commissioners, myself, the county councilor, and Public Works Director Bill Ring, and approximately 10 minutes, so 5:25 to 5:35.
I move the commission recess into executive session along with the commission, the county councilor, the county administrator, the public works director, to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel, KSA 75-4319B1, pursuant to the Open Meetings Act exception. And with it to resume at 5:35 p.m.
And I will second that motion.
We have a motion to move into executive session for approximately 10 minutes. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries 3-0.
Let's go.
No action. We will move on to our next item, adjournment, unless someone else has something else to say.
I do not.
Going once, going twice. News media, you want to chime in on anything? Big predictions for tonight's game?
I think you know what's good. Phil knows.
By what? 8? 11? Okay.
Well, Catholics will win 2 nights in a row.
All right. We will adjourn at 5, what do we call it, 32-ish? Not 2-ish,
7-ish.
do you have an issue?
Seven?
They're good Catholic girls last night.
Oh, was that not a great game?
That was great.